feel like that's kind of the era we all found Bigger Pockets. I don't know if they had some boom then or what, but that's kind of when we all found it. And so you've learned from Dave Ramsey some really great core foundations for finance. Like, I really want to point out that those are there, because I feel like because he doesn't believe in debt as real estate investors, like, those are two different things. With where he's teaching you not to have debt, he's mostly on the personal side of it. Although he does have a really great new book. I don't know if you've read it yet.
No,
and it's talking about building a business that you love. So it's his perspective from a business side. I'm like halfway through it, so I'm not sure I wanted to tell you that you need to read it yet. The first half is great so far. But you do learn some really great foundations in finance. And then how do you shift? Because some people, they were in such a bad place, like you were talking about, that you shift to this, you're getting out of that. Most people can't transition into the next step because they're so fearful that they'll go back to where they were. So how do you start progressing to get out of this and decide, I'm going to invest in real estate?
It just made sense. I just felt that looming feeling driving to work every single day, crying in my coffee, wondering, is this all life has to offer? And so sometimes you have those moments, and a pivotal moment for me is when I had ended one of those 14-hour shifts and I was headed back home, and I got the call from the pharmacy manager saying that my partner, who had just taken over, I passed the baton over, was just held at gunpoint.
Oh gosh.
And so that just sprung me into action, that I've got to do something drastically different. You ever have those moments in your life that just kind of shakes you to your core? And I always felt like, okay, I'm out here working my tail off, building someone else's dream, paying off debt, thankfully so, got a big degree, got the prestige, got the degree, but it was a lot of pressure. Right? And so I was working on someone else's dream, had really nothing to show for myself on the business side, nothing to show for my legacy. And I really wanted something. And that's how I decided, you know what, I've got to do something related to real estate, and started to just kind of evaluate different types of real estate strategies, fix and flips, syndications, storage facilities, all the things, long-term rental, short-term rental. And so what made sense for me, because I wanted to be super intentional, because I had already burnt myself out to a crisp. So for this next phase of life, I said I had to be intentional. I've got to understand, yes, how much can we make with a particular strategy, but what's the cost also? And so went down the rabbit hole. Coming from the Dave Ramsey route, I'm thinking, okay, I've got to buy as cheap as possible. Wholesaling, that everyone says you can start wholesaling without any debt. So Dave, no worries, no debt involved. I'm going to do wholesaling. Girl.
That's just another job, right?
A whole job. And I already have a job. We had 5 of those, okay? So I did not need a 6th job. And that was a job, and it's a job where if you don't set it up correctly, you know.
And so I think that's important to point out too, because we talk about like flippers and wholesaling and real estate agents, and they want to group that all in as real estate investors.
Right.
And I am not saying there's anything wrong with those professions, but they are not investing.
No.
Those are active jobs, which can be a really great start for somebody if you don't have a high W-2 job already. Because they're taxed the same way. They're active income. You are hustling your butt off to make that money. It can be a really great way to learn some real estate investing skills, some skills that are transferable into real estate investing, and get you kind of a little nest egg to be able to invest with. I think it's a great way to start. But that should never be confused as this is real estate investing.
I couldn't agree with you more. And so it reminds me of Dr. Elena. She's a client of mine. She's from Uzbekistan. She started going down the wholesaling route, and her husband had no idea. He goes, "What do you mean? You're driving for $1?" So driving for dollars, that was a big buzzword. And so not all strategies are in alignment with every individual. It's got to be a little bit more personalized.
Yes.
Where is your best and highest talent? And mine was, actually punching that clock that I had paid nearly $500,000 to gain that degree for. So let me punch this clock. Let me borrow using some really cheap money, leveraging my W-2 income, and let me get a loan for 3.5%, 5%, 10% down to put into a property that I can then furnish and leverage via short-term rentals. That was the most in alignment with me. But everyone's different, Heather, right? Some people, their family built construction companies, and they've been in construction since they were 16.
Yeah, and they've got that skill. They should use that.
Use that.
Yes.
Right. Use that.
Yes.
But I'm not her. We could barely paint in a straight line. So construction was not, fix and flip was not was my best, it was not my best and highest. And so that's when I got really clear. And one thing I shared with you was the highest ROI for a new investor is in the ability to focus.
Yes.
And I got really clear, and I'm a one-trick pony when it comes to real estate. It is my furnished rentals. I do either short-term or mid-term. That is my cup of tea. I am in a ground-up construction right now, which is, if it doesn't kill me by next year, you know what? It's a whole miracle.
How funny is it how often we have to learn these lessons all over again?
All day.
Right.